So, hi and welcome back. It's been a while since I made one of these, but it's been long overdue, and I've been planning to do this for a while. So, this is the first installation out of 3 in a Zeny making guide. I am James Windsor, leader of the Bad Omen Guild on the European Ragnarok online server. Now, this will be the first part, so this is going to be for beginners, where I will be going through everything very thoroughly. And well, if you're a veteran, you should probably skip over to at least intermediate or expert level, which is going to be part 2 or 3. And let me just start by saying that if you plan on putting any real money into the game, to just, you know, since you can buy iShop items and sell them, then you won't be needing this guide. But if you just want to grind your way up, or you want to make your money without putting in real money, or you just want to get to know the game a little bit more, then by all means stick around. Right, so having said all that, let's just jump right into it. Now, Zeny, being what we're talking about here, is your currency here. Why do we want Zeny? Very simple, just like why you want money in real life, really, to get the things that you want. Now, in the game though, it might be difficult to get going, so I thought I'd give you a little bit of a few good ways to make some starting Zeny, and also in general, just good tips. Right, so having said that, moving on. Now, I would highly suggest at the beginning, even if you don't plan to main a merchant class, you should have one, right? Whether it's on your main account, actually, yeah, it should be on your main account, I believe first, because there's something called overcharge. Oh, I'm so sorry, I accidentally clicked this thing here. So, oops, my bad. Right, anyway, so being in a merchant tree, you have this thing called overcharge. See, 24% price increase. Now, this basically just means that you can, if an item is worth 100 Zeny, you're gonna get 124 Zeny for it in the vendor. Doesn't sound like much, but when you're vendoring over time, it will add up, especially once you start farming a lot. And also, for example, you can use the greed skill. Let's see where, of course I don't have a bravery bag on this character. Anyway, basically, if you're playing a blacksmith, for example, you can use the greed skill, which basically collects all items on the ground near you. Otherwise, you can get a bravery bag. Actually, I'm just gonna get one out of the store just to show you. And the bravery bag can grant you this skill. That's really an optimal bravery, doesn't matter. Right, here. Greed. 2 cells around the caster automatically picks up every item within 2 cells. This basically means if you're killing tons of mobs at the same time with whatever class you're playing, you can use greed to loot all of it instead of having to click each item separately. Now this makes farming way faster and a lot more, well, let's just say convenient, right? So now that we've established what it is and, you know, a couple of ways to get it, on this server specifically, now this tactic can probably be applied to like a lot of servers, but your experiences may vary. But since this is the European Ragnarok Online server, I'll be going through what you can do here. Now, yeah, you could get lucky and you can drop, there's a few cards that are worth a lot of money. You could drop one of those and you could be an instant millionaire. But if you're like me, I had to farm my way through my first millions. And I'm going to assume that that's going to be you as well. So, without further ado, first and foremost for low levels. Now keep in mind, this is if you're like level, I don't know, 15 maybe, or 20 or something like that. Now, we won't be making millions of this, but this is a great way to make some Zeny. Now, this is in the middle of the night, so there's no real vendors here. But normally here in Geffen, there's quite a few people who will stand with buy shops. Now, just like merchants, for example, have a skill called vending, where they can set up their own shops, which is another reason why you should be making a merchant, so you can vendor things. Like, it's basically putting up your own shop so people can buy things off you that you don't want. Like, if you find a car that you don't want, or a piece of equipment that you don't want, or if you just have a spare, or whatever it might be. Vending skill is invaluable. You need to have it to be able to make money. For reference, I'm using 6 vendors on a separate 6 separate accounts at all times. Now, this is a little bit overcourse, you don't have to do that. But for example, you can put up your vendor when you go to bed, or when you go to work, or go to school, or whatever it might be. And it's gonna help you immensely. just like there's a vending that you can sell things with, there's also an item that will allow you to purchase items from other players. Here we go. Here's a perfect example. See this person right here? They're using something called a buy shop. Okay, and this is an item. And if you click it, okay, sorry, you'll see that this person is buying stems and poison spores at 800 Zeny a piece. Now this is really low because they're worth a bit more. You can usually sell them for between 2 and 3k. But this should give you a rough idea of what's going on here. Yeah, this I wouldn't sell for this price, but anyways, so where do you get these? Okay, so for low levels, now you can actually, like, Geffen is a great starting area, because if you walk north, I'll show you where it is, right? So, one map north of Geffen. Now these are items that will always be in demand. Here's another one buying stems for 900 Zenys, right. Now if you kill these Mandragoras, they will drop a stem every time. Now, as I said, you can get 2k for them, probably. See, they drop at least one every time. There's also Mandragora card, which isn't super valuable, but still. So yeah, you can do this and it'll give you some EXP at low level as well. Now, you can't AoE these for sure, but if you're low level, you can make quite a bit of Zeny fast. I mean, keep in mind, if you say that you get 2k each, you kill 50 of these, you have 100k Zeny. Easy peasy. It should last you for a little bit at least. Now, you could continue doing this for hours and hours and hours, because there will always be a market for these, okay? Because people, like me, really, we need them to create acid bombs, like these ones here. You should not be doing that, because I just wasted over 100k. Anyways, so this is one way to make some Zeny if you're, like, at the lowest tier of leveling. And you could start with this already at, like, hell, you could probably kill this at level 5 or 6, maybe. Okay, maybe that's a little bit low, because you'll be like 12 after the novice ground. But say that you do novice ground, you get out of there, you're level 12-ish. You could probably go here straight away. I would actually suggest doing that. But yeah, this is for beginners, right? Now, you might think, okay, but stems are only 2k, isn't there anything better? Of course there is. But this is just the start, right? So, you see here, one north of Geffen. And, well, you should probably not sell for 900. You can do that if you like, but I would recommend around 2.5k per stem is a decent price that you could be getting. Right? Okay, so let's leave the stems for now. We'll go back to Juno. Now, the next tier up, I would probably say is Verits. Now, Verits drop a Immortal Heart, okay? I actually need to buy some more butterfly wings before we continue. Now, just like the Mandragoras, the Verits, however, is a little bit, like, they're quite easy to kill as well. Now, they will put up a bit more of a fight, I guess, but they're not difficult. And they're pretty easy to get to as well. They're not around Geffen though, so you might wanna, you need to find your way to Morok. To do this, to do like the Verits, let's see, you go to Morok, you should probably be around level 40. I think level 40 might, depending on what class you're as well. What's going on with my Ragnarok? There we go. So, you go to Morok, you guys see where I am right now. Right, anyways, these Immortal Hearts that you can get from the Verits, you could probably, if you wait it out a little bit, you can probably get 9 to 10k a piece. Now, if you're lucky, you can find buy shops for even more than that during certain events or during certain times, but there will always be a demand for them, always. So it's not a bad place to farm, and also the fact that the Verit card is very useful and valuable as well. It will give you like, let's see, I'm doing misleading information here, but I'm quite sure that the Verit card is worth somewhere around 30 million. Hang on, Verit, right. Actually, that is my bad, it is not. It's on average, wow, it has dropped a lot. But yeah, it's like 10 mil at least. Anyways, so we're going for the Mortal Hearts. You go into the pyramids. Now, they're undeads, but they're not aggressive. Yeah, they're level 52, right? So at least you should be level 37 to get decent EXP here. So you go up here, right? You basically need to go to the basement. If you see the way I'm going here, it's a little bit of a maze. And then you'll find this little staircase down here. See where I'm right now? The map. You just go here, la 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 la, and then up here. And you go down here. So yeah, you need to be at least 37 to get decent EXP from these. Now, they will always drop Immortal Hearts. Always. If you're premium, that is. If you're not premium, I believe it's 90%, which is still pretty good. They also drop Rotten Bandages, which is pretty nice too. Also worth picking up. They drop White Herbs, which is not bad either. But the thing is, since they're undeads, they will take extra damage from Holy if you're an archer, for example. Now, the Verids are not aggressive, but these Minoras are. But again, I mean, they're not. Their health is, what, 2.5k? Verids have 1.9. So, say you kill a Verid, right? And you'll drop an Immortal Heart. There's some mummies down here as well, but most things are pretty slow. I would recommend, if you're farming here, something like Fly Wings, for example. Let's see, I will be using a teleport clip just for reference, right? So do this till you find another Verid. Now, apparently there's someone else farming here. There we go, exactly. You kill him, Mortal Heart. Now, I used to do this to farm my first millions, but apparently I'm either really unlucky with finding them, because there's actually not few, there's quite a lot. So you see Mortal Heart, and you can just, yeah, exactly, see. And they also drop lemons, which is pretty nice. Yeah, see here you could use greed to pick up all the items at the same time. Lemons, I would recommend saving those as well. If you kill the Minoras, I'm quite sure they're the ones dropping it. Right, anyway, so you could keep doing this for a while. Now, say that you would count each of these hearts as like 10k maybe. You could easily make a couple of millions here in just an evening. Yeah, see here's somebody else killing here. Which is fine, you know, they're doing the thing. It's actually a friend of mine. Oh, he's leveling. Okay, cool. Anyway, so yeah, Rotten Bandages, White Herbs, Verid Cards, Immortal Hearts. Very nice spot. Basement 1 from the pyramids, 1 northwest from Morok, and then 1 down in the pyramids. Or 2 actually, because you just follow the road. Anyways, so yeah, this would be like a little bit higher up than that to farm money. I know still there's a lot of people who farm here because, well, I mean, let's face it, it's hard to beat this amount of money this easily. Now, are there other places you could farm? There definitely is. Now, there's also, I forgot to say, there's poison spores that you could farm, which is from the Mandragora map, is to the right. Like, go to the Mandragora map and then go 1 east, and there's gonna be tons of poison spores. Same principle as the Mandragoras. But yeah, I would probably recommend the Mandragoras over the poison spores, because the poison spores are so heavily farmed, and there's probably more stems requirement than poison spores, because there's just way too many poison spores. Right, so Immortal Hearts. Now after this, I would honestly, like, this would be my, like, there's some people saying that you could go to Gefenia later, but I honestly don't believe, it's not a good place really, because you need a long quest chain to get in, and it's just a pain in the ass really. Now, okay, so now that we covered a couple of places you could go, I'm gonna go back to Frontera and we're gonna talk about something else. Well, I mean, still gonna be farming, but, or money making generally. So we've covered overcharge, vending, and buy shops. Now, another thing you could do, I'm gonna go to Frontera, is if you want something alternative to farm, if you go to Frontera, you could get creative. Now, let's see here. Someone's buying strawberries, you could farm that. There's people buying skulls, bloody runes. So the thing is, like, you should never really vendor anything unless you know that nobody wants to buy it. Now, if you're unsure, you could ask me if you want, and I'll happily respond. I mean, I've been playing here for 1.5 years now. I know mostly what people will buy and what they will not buy. So yeah, just look for these buy shops. The icon is different from, now I'm using a skin here, but you get the idea. Like, this is what a buy shop thing looks like, and this is what a selling thing looks like. Right, okay. So, we've covered that, right? Now, obviously, if you're vendoring, I would recommend in Frontera because there's the most amount of people. Let's see, is there anything else? Yes, there's also a forum thread that you could go through. I will put it in the link in the description where people will list things that are needed for crafting. And this is usually like things that people will buy off you. There's a couple of other miscellaneous items that people will love to buy. But in general, like you could farm, there's elder branches a bit higher up, sticky mucus, scale shells, orcish vouchers, insect feeder, and so on. The list goes on and on, but you get the idea basically. Selling it to other players is a good way to make money in the beginning. Now, if you're just into pure grinding, that you just want a vendor and you don't want to sell it to other players, there are a couple of spots to do this, but honestly, I wouldn't waste my time with that on low level at all, because if you want to do that, the first place I would actually gather up and vendor is when you pass a level 100, so you can go down to Magma Dungeon. Because then you can like greed a couple of million per hour easily, which is quite nice, but I would still say that Immortal Hearts... There's also Heart of Mermaids. I can actually show you where you can farm those. Heart of Mermaids is the same principle as Immortal Hearts, but if you go to Islud, right? Now they can also drop Wither as Roses, which is pretty nice for vendoring. Right, so you go to Islud. Now these Heart of Mermaids are also used by genetics to create coats. Right, so you go Bioland Island. Bioland? Right. And you look like, this island is very creative, it looks like a skull. Anyway, so at the center of the nose of the skull there is an entrance. I would not advise trying to go here during drop rate events though, because people tend to use this island for bloody branches, which spawns MVP, so I'd keep an eye out for that. Alright, there's some warning signs, and there's a temple entrance, so you go in. Now, it's a little bit like trickier to get here. And you see, like when you reach level 1, you basically have to, like, I mean, unless you're teleporting, you just have to run. You can see the way the map is shaped. It doesn't matter if you use this entrance or that entrance, it doesn't really, they both lead to the same place, really. Anyway, so, let's see, I'm trying to think of if there's anything else that I could... Right, I mean, you should also use a merchant to buy all the consumables that you want to buy, due to being able to discount, just like you have overcharge, that gives you 24% extra Zeny when you vendor things. There's also discount that reduces prices from vendors by 24%. Right, you see I'm up here now, so you go in, and then we reach level 2. On the next level you have to go into the middle. Here. So, if you go into the middle, let's see if we can get lucky with teleports, because I'm too lazy to run. And it looks like we can be. Right, okay. So, you get here, and then you go to level 3. You can also farm Skell Bones, for example, which is pretty good. There's a couple of nice places for that too. Right, okay, so now we're at level 3. There's gonna be these mermaids. You can find one. Called Obeyuns, Obinyao. I can't even pronounce their names. And apparently we can't seem to find them for whatever reason. There's supposed to be quite a few down here, but... Oh, here we go, one. So, you kill them. And you drop Heart of Mermaid. Now, Heart of Mermaid, same story as the Immortal Hearts. You can teleport around, or sorry, Flywing. And you drop Heart of Mermaids. Every time. Easy peasy. EXP wise, they're about the same as Verits, I believe, around level 40. So I think that covers early game farming. Now, I mean, as I said, if you run into a really nice card, I'd advise you to check up what it's worth. I can actually do that now, just to show you. There's a website, I will also link it in the description, called Amity Guild. Hang on, I'll drag it over here to this so you can see what I'm doing. Right. Now, Amity Guild. Hang on, I'll just delete this. Right. So, will look like this. Now, right now it's a little bit of a bug because there seemed to be like a problem with the bot. But say that you find an item, let's just say, I don't know, Hydra card. Now, Hydra card, you click on it, and you'll see who's selling it, last 7 days price, and the total average price. This will stop you from like getting ripped off or selling something way too cheap, and it'll also be a nice way for you to see what something is valued. Okay, well let's go like Immortal Hearts, right? Immortal Heart. Now, people are selling it, there's 8k here. Last 5 days price are really low, and they've gone down to 6k as well. But if you look recently, 10k, 15k, yeah, prices are very varied here. But I would probably say you could probably sell for between 8 to 10k, most likely. You can see here, there's, yeah, 2,800, 2,918 for 10k each. So yeah, there's definitely a good market for all of these things. The same thing goes for any card, any piece of gear. You can also create an account like I have here. And then you log in. I have bookmarks, so I can see prices of items that are of interest to me. If you go to bookmarks, for example, my list is even longer than, yeah. Yeah, I have a few items that I haven't looked out for. Definitely a very good website to use. Right. So there's also another one called RODB, where you create your own account. Right. Terribly sorry about this. Just gonna remove my chats. Right. So RODB, you can create your own account, just like on the other one. Now basically this is a little bit more complicated, but let's just say I wanna find an item, right? Hydra card, just for, you know. And this is what people, now you can't buy them straight up here, but you can see what people are offering them for. Anything that has anything with Hydra card, right? For example. Now, if you click contact me, you'll get a little window and you can leave a message to this person. So that's pretty cool. Now, there's another interesting feature here. If you click on, just like the buying shop, remember, you can do this. And then you do validate, and you can see if anyone is looking to buy anything with Hydra card, if you find one. Say leave offer. Now if you change it to something else, if we do poison bottle. People are buying poison bottles for 12k, for example. And if we check who's selling poison bottles, if you're looking to buy them, there's people, I assume that's going to be 20k, it says 20 Zeny, but I believe it's 20k. Yeah, so if you look at my account, for example, you click up here to the top right. This is my shop. You can set your own prices, you can add items, like I'm gonna show how to add an item just for the fun of it. Let's go with, oh, I don't know, Mjolnir, just for the sake of it. I don't actually have a Mjolnir, just for reference. See, and you get these. Now if you click this, it'll give you a customization, like plus whatever element. If you have an enchant, like, I don't know, luck, for example, right? And you can add like luck 8 or 9 or whatever. Right. And if you click the money bags, it will be added to your shop that you're selling, okay? And if you click on the little thing with the money piles, whatever you want to call it, you will add it to what you are looking for, okay? Now this is a very, very cool feature. See, okay, I'm not looking for a Mjolnir with all this luck, but for example, you can see these are the things I'm looking for. You can set, again, you can set prices, what you're buying for, if you want to trade, or, you know, whatever, really. I highly recommend using this. There's also a chat where you can advertise what you're looking for or ask people questions. Let's see, is there anything else? Now, this should be like the basics, how to sell and buy things on EURO. And then there's also these bots that you should probably ignore. So we've covered Island. Let's see, is there any other way you can make any Zeny? I should have probably planned this before I made a video, but I figured I'd just wing it. Farming straight up. There's a couple of low-level cards you could farm if you're into that sort of thing. Peko Peko card sells pretty well. For what, 15-20 mil maybe? Now, I would not recommend this because you could end up spending hours and hours and not finding anything. So yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, you can if you want to, but I really wouldn't. But I think that sort of wraps up my introduction to Zeny making, really. I mean, this is just like the pure basics. But yeah, this should get you going, really. So I'm probably not like, you know, I feel pretty content with this video so far. Oh yes, the links, those 3 links will be in the description So the link to the Amity Guild for the live thing, and RODB, and also for the forum post with what people are looking for. Now, as I said, if you like this, give me a thumbs up, give me feedback, donate $1, subscribe, follow, whatever you'd like. Anything is appreciated. I will also be making an intermediate one, which will be a bit more, intermediate really. And then there will also be an expert level one, so don't despair if you feel like this is a little bit under your level. Don't worry, there will be one that's a little bit higher, and then another one. But yeah, this was supposed to be an introduction one, so, and I am winging it, so I am terribly sorry if you guys don't like it. But I hope you do, and I hope it helps someone. Anyways, feel free to look me up otherwise. Discord, in-game, wherever you'd like. You know where I am on my Twitch as well. Otherwise, have a good night, and thank you very much for watching.